Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Power Classes. This is our part 2 of class 11 geography chapter number 2, weathering and mass wasting. So in the previous video we studied weathering, its types and the role of weather, water, heat and pressure. Now let's continue with the remaining factors of weathering. So from biological weathering we will be starting. So first, what does biological mean? So biological means related to living organisms. So, when rocks are broken or weakened due to the activities of plants, animals, and microorganisms, it is called biological weathering. When rocks are broken or weakened due to the activities of plants, animals, and and microorganisms, it is called biological weathering. Remember this. So, how do plants causes weathering? So, imagine a tree growing near a rock. Its roots enter the small cracks in the rock. As the roots grow bigger, they put pressure on the cracks. So the cracks become wider and deeper. Finally, the rock may finally the rock may break apart. You can see the example here in figure 2.9. So in this, just remember that roots enter in cracks, roots, and after as the roots grow, they create pressure. Pressure increases, rock breaks. So this is biological weathering. Now, how microorganisms break? Small organisms such as algae, moss, lichens, bacteria can grow on the surface of rocks. They produce chemicals that can weaken and break down the outer surface of rocks. So they can also create moist conditions that encourage both physical and chemical weathering. Next is burrowing animals. So animals such as rodents and other burrowing animals dig into the ground. Their activities can create or enlarge cracks and loosen the soils and rock materials. So this is also the part of biological weathering. So therefore animals can also contribute to weathering. You can see 2.9 figure B, biological weathering. It's also a part of this. Now we will move towards anthropogenic weathering. So now anthropogenic means caused by human activities. Sorry. So today humans have become a powerful agent of weathering because of economic and technological development. We do have short note, I think, on this in exercise, so remember, learn it properly. So today humans have become a powerful agent of weathering because of economic and technological development, like humans activities such as mining, quarrying, blasting hills, road construction, dam construction, deforestation can rapidly break and loosen rocks. So normally some of these changes might take thousands or millions of years, but human activities can accelerate the process considerably. So remember this. Now, next is, now one thing, remember key, what factors control the rate of weathering. So first is climate, second is humid climate, dry climate, these and the rock type also. So now we will begin with importance of weathering. So now you may ask, why weathering is important? Sorry, why is weathering important? So weathering is actually the first step in many geomorphic process. First is soil formation. Weathering breaks rocks into smaller particles. These particles contribute to the formation of soil. So it is important for soil formation. Next is, it is important for formation of landforms. So weathering provide material that can later be eroded to transported, and after transported, it will be deposited at somewhere, and their landforms are formed. So this helps in the formation of landforms such as deltas, beaches, plains, etc. So it is also helpful in concentration of minerals. Weathering can also help in the construction of certain minerals in areas with heavy rainfall. Leaching removes some materials from the parent rock too. So as a result, minerals such as iron and aluminium can become concentrated. Examples like laterite, bauxite, etc. Now our next topic is mass wasting. So we have learned that weathering breaks rock into smaller pieces. But what happens when these loose materials move down loose materials move down a slope because of gravity? So this is called mass wasting or mass movement. Before we study in detail, just remember that weathering breaks the material. Mass wasting moves the material down a slope. So in next So just remember कि mass wasting, also called mass movement, is the downward movement of loose soil, rock and other materials along a slope due to gravity. So the important point is that the materials moves without the help of a transporting agent like a river, wind or glacier. So mass wasting is downward movement plus slope plus gravity. So it can happen very slowly and very suddenly also. So and sudden mass movement can cause serious damage. So what are the factors responsible for mass wasting that we will be learning one by one? So first is relief and slope. So for mass wasting to occur, there must be some elevation and slope. It generally don't occur on completely flat land. So therefore, hilly, mountainous, and plateau regions are more vulnerable. So the steeper the slope, the greater the possibility of rapid movement. Like a simple example, we can take a material on a gentle slope may move very slowly, but on a steep slope, gravity pulls it down more strongly and movement can be much faster. Next is gravity. Gravity is the main force responsible for mass wasting. Gravity constantly pulls objects towards the earth's surface. If the force holding material on the slope is stronger than gravity, the material remains stable. But if gravity becomes stronger than the resistance of a friction, the material starts moving downhill. Our next responsible factor is water. So, water plays a very important role. Remember, water doesn't necessarily transport the materials as a river does, but instead, water can make the slope unstable. So, during heavy rainfall, water enters the soil becomes heavier, friction between particles decreases, the slope becomes unstable, material can start moving downward. So, snowfall and melting snow can have a similar effect. So, therefore, more water, more weight plus less friction, it is greater chance of mass wasting. Next is weak material and structures. So, not all rocks have the same strength. Some rocks are weaker and break more easily. So, rocks containing clay and calcium minerals can be particularly susceptible to mass wasting. So, rocks with many joints, cracks, fractures are also more vulnerable. Like and other factors like there are several additional factors that can increase mass wasting like construction, deforestation, wildfires, excess water, etc. Now next is role of a climate. It will be additional for this. So just remember climate also influences mass wasting. So in humid regions, heavy rainfall can make slopes unstable and increase the possibility of landslides. So, in mountainous areas, melting snow can also increase the water content of the soil. But remember, rainfall alone does not cause every landslide. The slope, rock structure, vegetation, and gravity also do matters. Now, we will be moving with our next topic, that is types of mass wasting. First, it's first is first is creep. So creep is the slowest type of movement. In this process, soil and loose material slowly move down the slope under the influence of gravity. The movement is extremely slow, so we may not notice it immediately. It can continue for years or even centuries. Just again, simple example. Imagine a hill slope. The soil particles don't suddenly fall down. Instead, they move little by little towards the bottom. So this slow movement is called creep. So creep is the slowest mass movement. Next is rockfall. As the name suggests, here rocks fall down from a steep cliff or rocky slope. It is a rapid movement. A piece of rock breaks away from the cliff and falls freely towards the bottom because of gravity. Just imagine a steep mountain with a large rock. If the rock breaks away from the mountain and falls directly down, it is called a rock fall. So, rock falls mainly occur in rocky and steep areas. Rockfall is rapid plus rocks fall and it is steep slope. Next is earth flow. So earth flow occurs when soil becomes saturated with water and starts moving down the slope. So what is very important here? When heavy rainfall adds a lot of water to the soil becomes heavy and loses stability. So as a result of this, the soil starts flowing downhill. So earth flow may be slow or rapid. It commonly occurs on hillsides in humid regions. So heavy rainfall, soil becomes saturated and soil because of this soil loses stability and earth floats. Next is soil fluctuation. So don't get confused by the difficult name. Just soil fluctuation simply means the slow downhill movement of water saturated soil. So it mainly occurs in periglacial and alpine regions where the ground is very cold. There is often a permanently frozen layer called permafrost below the surface. So, because this frozen layer does not allow water to move downward easily, the upper soil becomes saturated with the water. So, this wet soil slowly moves downhill under the force of gravity. The moment can extremely slow, extremely slow, only millimeters or centimeters per year. So just remember one thing in this: soil fluctuation is slow movement of water saturated in soil in cold regions. Our next topic is landslide. So landslide a landslide occurs when a mass of rock, soil, earth, debris moves down a slope as a relatively single unit. So, unlike creep, a landslide can happen suddenly and rapidly. It generally occurs on moderately steep slopes. So, remember the Malin landslide of 2014 that heavy rainfall made the slope unstable and a large amount of soil and mud moved downhill. So that is an example of landslide. So our last topic is erosion. So we already learned that weathering breaks rocks into smaller pieces and mass wasting moves materials downhill due to gravity. But erosion is slightly different. So, what is erosion? Erosion is the removal and transportation of rock particles from one place to another. So, in erosion, the materials is moved with the help of transporting agent. So, the major agents of erosion are running water, wind, glaciers, or moving ice. So, just one thing remember in this: weathering is breakdown, mass wasting, downward movement due to gravity. Erosion is the removal and transportation by agents. So suppose a rock breaks into small particles. First the rock is broken down, so it is called weathering. Now if a river picks up these particles and carries them downstream, that is erosion and transportation. So how does erosion happen? Erosion involves the use of kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? It is the energy of a moving object. For example, moving water has a energy, moving wind has a energy, moving glacier or ice has two energy. So this energy helps them remove and transport rock particles. So main agents of erosion are running water, wind, glaciers, etc. So here we are done with the second chapter. Thank you everyone. Keep learning and keep growing with Brain Power classes. See you in next video.